I'm writing this because I know that it won't be long before I'm found. I'll leave it hidden in this cave, so that perhaps one day, if discovered, it will tell the truth as to what happened here. The day it started was like any other day. People were going about their usual routines, their mundane lives, expecting the same things they always expected, until the news started to spread through social media, the TV, and the radio. There was a large flying object hovering above an entire small town in the Midwest. No one saw how it got there. It just appeared. It was black, round, flat with a small curve on both the top and bottom sides. Lights flickered around it and made only the slightest of a humming noise. The governments declared an emergency. The news had spread around the world. Armies readied. World leaders ordering calm, yet their own voices showed the strain of a quivering voice. The object was there for 3 days before she came out. It spat her to the ground and she lay there in a ball before the army went in and snatched her away. She was soaking wet from head to toe, wearing a sleeping garment. She had blonde hair and wide blue eyes. The world's eyes were on her, at once terrified and also concerned. Who is she? Is she one of them? Eventually we were told that she was 14 years old, although no parents ever claimed her. The United States government held a press conference to share with the world that this child, who was named Talitha, had told a story of being taken by the ship and given a message to share with everyone in the world. They explained that they now believed that that ship was not there on a mission to destroy, but instead to choose this child to deliver a message of hope and peace and of healing. That this child was filled with the information on how to achieve all of this, to end wars and hunger and illness, to tell us how to sustain an entire population and eradicate disease, how we might come together as a planet and put an end to violence, and to become one with ourselves and others, to spread love and joy. And the world became eager to hear this message. They began to see this object in the sky as a great and powerful being. There were lines for miles, so that people might have their photos taken under the object of greatness. World leaders came by the hundreds, as did religious men and women, leaders from every faith, to bask in the power of what could be. High-ranking religious teachers were called to see Talitha. World leaders, kings, queens, and presidents sat at her feet. The world was told that in 2 weeks, Talitha would speak to everyone on the planet. That people must travel to the far-flung jungles and deserts. That they must go to the furthest islands and into the hottest and coldest places, so that even if there were only 2 people there, they must bring equipment so that they too could hear this message. Radios, internet, televisions, movie screens, translators of every known language were on their way to every single human being alive. On the day that Talitha would speak to the world, there wasn't a single person who was not watching or listening to what she would tell us about how to begin anew. Wash ourselves with light and peace and love. How to feed the hungry, cure diseases. That there would be no more pain, only fellowship and enlightenment, happiness and encouragement. That all men and women would be created equal. All races were one, the human race. The world felt blessed by her presence as their messenger. She took to the podium, surrounded by the heaviest of security, to make sure that she could tell us her message. In the background, people cried. They dropped to their knees as she began to speak. "My name is Talitha," she began. "Please, hear me speak, as I have come to you to end your suffering. I have come to you with a message to end the hate which runs rampant, the killing of innocent people. I have come to end world hunger and the diseases which kill so many, and the pollution that has created a dying planet." And then she opened her mouth wide, as if to sing a beautiful song. The translator stopped speaking. Those on their knees looked horrified. I read the lips of a woman who was covering her ears, and she said, the noise, make it stop." Talitha's skin began to melt away. Her face changed into a hideous creature. Her body morphed into an almost science fiction-like shape. Her hands turned into claws. And the people began bleeding from their ears, their noses, their eyes, and their mouths. One by one, they dropped to the ground and writhed in pain until they finally died. The object released a beam of light underneath it. I don't know if anyone but me saw what happened next. An army of those creatures descended, clearing a path through the bodies as if they were walking through trash. More objects began to appear. Thousands upon thousands of creatures came forth. I am deaf, unable to hear since birth. There must be others like me still alive, but I fear that that won't be for long. Today is April 19th, 2020. I will write again tomorrow and every day that I survive. The note was unsigned, and no other was ever found.